We have been given the scientific knowledge, the technical ability, and the materials to pursue the exploration of the universe. To ignore these great resources would be a corruption of a God-given ability.
10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
T-minus 90 seconds and counting. All systems are go. We're about 90 seconds from the launch of Space Shuttle Discovery. T-minus 60 seconds and counting. We are transferring to orbiter internal power at this time. Discovery is now running off its 3 onboard fuel cells. Coming up on a go for auto sequence start. And we have a go for auto sequence start. Discovery's onboard computers have primary control of all the vehicle's critical functions. T-minus 17 seconds and counting. 15, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, start, 2, 1, booster ignition, and liftoff of the Space Shuttle Discovery, returning to the space station, paving the way for future missions beyond.
Capcom speed threat.
Wings of a legacy.
Discovery Houston, go at throttle up.
Roger, go at throttle up. Carefully, throttle up.
Throttle up, throttle down, right, commander, speed mercy.
Houston is expected to hit to clear shortly.
Copy.
Solid rocket booster separation confirmed. Guidance now converging. Discovery's onboard computers commanding the main engine nozzles to swivel, aiming the shuttle for its precise target in space for main engine cutoff.
Should have a good forward leg now in S10.
Okay, you sound good.
Discovery Houston, negative return.
Copy, a negative return.
Do you want one more? What should we? How about, you know what? Here, let's do this. Saturn V? I started with the Saturn V, and I'll answer your questions about the... the SRBs in a moment. Like, and I'm eating during this. I'm trying to get something to eat. This is my breakfast hour, my dude. Yeah, that's what I think. I think so, Lonnie. I think that will be. No, that's a mission profile. We don't want that. We want the launch highlights. Here we go.
Status check to proceed with terminal count.
Yes.
Go. Hydraulics. Go. Locks. Go. Second stage system locks. Go. LH2. Go. Electrical system
Sure, Nick.
stable. Go. Ground. Go. Facility.
Audio's under boosted. Hold on.
FTS. Go. Flight control.
There we go.
Go. GCQ. Go. Operations support. Go. Pneumatics. Go. Umbilicals. Go. ASGAS. Go. ECS. Go. Redline monitor. Go. Quality. Go. Op safety manager. Go. New liaison officer. Go. Vehicle system engineer. Go. Anomaly chief. Go. Range coordinator. Clear to proceed. Launch director. Launch vehicles ready launch. Mission director.
You have permission to launch.
Proceeding with the count.
Main engine ignition. 3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff. Liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Delta IV Heavy rocket carrying the NROL-44 mission for the National Reconnaissance Office.
Vehicles cleared the tower. Engine parameters on all three R60A engines look good in the full thrust mode. Now 15 seconds into flight, vehicle's begun the pitch over maneuver. Body rate responses look good. And we've seen good indication of separation of the port and starboard boosters.
Dude, oh wait, no. I know which one we can do. Hold on. My favorite. Hold on. But no.
L minus 7 minutes.
Yes.
Status check to proceed with terminal count. Atlas systems, propulsion. Go. Hydraulics. Go.
My favorite.
Pneumatics.
Turn it up.
LO2. Go. Water. Go. Electrical systems, airborne. Go. Ground. Go. Facility. Go. RFFTS. Go. Flight control. Go. GCQ. Go. Operations support.
Go.
Com. Go. Umbilicals. Go. ECS. Go. Red line monitor. Go. Quality. Go. Op safety manager. Go. DLA safety officer. Go. Vehicle system engineer. Go. Knowledge. Go. Range coordinator. Clear proceed. Launch director. LD is go and you have permission to launch. Proceeding with the count. ALC, verified T0 is set for 11:50 Zulu.
4. Engine ignition. 2, 1, 0. And liftoff as the countdown to Mars continues. Perseverance of humanity launching the next generation of robotic explorers to the Red Planet.
And we have successful separation of Mars 2020 with the Perseverance rover.
Perfect, mate. Oh, that's good. All right. Hi. How was your weekend? Tessa, what are you saying? Yeah, no, Tessa, I'm fine. Just one day. Good. But then again, I take a lot of vitamins. Lot of other things. Oh, that just gave me second wind. Yeah, I was going to say, it's late over there, man. We want SDS again. We do. 2 questions. How did U.S. companies come in possession of Russian engines? And is ULA like NASA 2.0? No. ULA is a private launch company. They're a commercial launch company that launches, but their majority market is payloads for NASA and the Department of Defense. They don't really do much commercial. But yeah, Tory Bruno, this guy, see Mustache Man right here? He runs that company. He's the CEO of ULA, and he positioned that company to be specialized for Space Force missions, basically. In terms of like how they Charlie, hey, I'm new here in KSP in general. What'd you recommend to a complete noob? Keep it simple, dude. Charlie, keep it simple. KSP is a game about rocket science. It's important to keep that in mind. Rocket science, orbital mechanics, structural engineering, thermal engineering. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on. Keep it simple. Don't try to do something complicated your first time around. Make something that works. Johnny, if you have questions, just ask me. That's what I do. I basically run a stream that works with the chat, and I answer questions all day. Not bad, and you? Contempus to me a cave. It's really unbelievable. That's cool, see you. Nice. Did you see the first 2 episodes? No, I'm proud I haven't. It's like in second question, how did U.S. companies come in possession of rocket engines? That's a long story. There is a documentary here. on YouTube called The Engines That Came from the Cold. Here. I'll link it up in chat. It's a long story. A very cool story, though, too. I can't figure out how to reliably send stuff into orbit. I can do suborbital easily. Nice try, Jeff Bezos. But anything more than 2 to 4 people I can't send to orbit. Alright, you have... you have what's called Delta V problems. So... Alright. You have Delta V problems here, so let's take a look. Say you have the surface of the planet right here, right? When you launch, you're going to go up like this, and you're flying on a parabolic arc, right? So first and foremost, you have to make sure your ascent profile is good, all right? The ascent profile is huge, depending on what you want to do, right? You're going this way. Earth is down here, or Kerbin. Welcome to Earth. Alright, so you fly on a parabolic arc, like that. So you start going up, and then as you get further and further downrange, the higher you go, the more flat you are, right? So you have to try to fly on an ascent profile like this. The general rule of thumb for Kerbal is you want to be 85 degrees. So if we have an angle right here, that's 90 right there, right? Does that make sense, Johnny? You have 90. You start at 90, right? You start at 90, pointing straight up. 85 degrees at 10 kilometers. Okay? And then you want to be 45 degrees at 25 kilometers. And then, after 45, when your velocity gets, I don't know, when your velocity, this is where it really depends on the rocket, and this is the other part of this, Johnny. Wait, you go 90 till 10 kilometers? Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, pretty much, dude. This is the safest trajectory. This will work as long as your rocket has enough Delta V, but I'll get into Delta V in a second, okay? So after 45, when your velocity gets to around 1,500 meters a second, go flat. Go flat. Go down to 0 degrees. Go to 0 degrees angle of attack, and then just burn until your velocity gets above 2,300 meters a second. Don't get me wrong. Don't just follow every step and be like, okay, you have to fly the thing. You have to fly it into space. A rocket's guidance system in real life is never not making corrections. You always got to make corrections. An important thing to understand is a little bit about orbital mechanics, okay? Yeah, you can follow that and that will work, but that's like hitting a screw with a hammer. That ascent profile. It's like hitting a screw with a hammer. You have to be a little bit more, a little bit less like uncouth than that, right? You hone it over time. Practice makes perfect with this stuff. My biggest problem is getting it back home, as I said earlier. Wait, I thought you said you can't get stuff into orbit. Hold on. So, wait, are you having trouble getting into orbit, or are you having trouble coming back? I'm confused. Just tell me, man. Huh? Now I got the ascent profile for getting it to orbit. Oh, okay. Well, there is some other things. Now I need to learn how to get a bigger craft back from orbit. Do the opposite of that. Do the opposite of that. My craft always flips nose first. Oh. Oh, okay. Charney, how, this might be a personal question you don't want to answer, you tell me. I'm only asking so I can make an appropriate analogy that you'll understand. How old are you, dude? Like, if you don't want to say, just tell me. I'm not trying to creep. It'll be easier to teach it. You're 30. Okay, so you're okay. I'm 33. So you're about my age. You know how the kids do the bottle flip thing? That was cool for like a couple of years. You know, they do that bottle flip thing where they have a water bottle and it's like filled up halfway with water and you flip it, right? And the friggin' they try to get it to land straight up. You remember that? How that was cool for a second and now it's like not cool anymore? That's exactly what you're doing. Same thing. That's what Falcon 9 does when it comes back. It's just a big bottle flip. Because what is Falcon 9 or any type of rocket with a with liquid in it? It's just a tube with liquid in it. It's the same thing as a bottle flip. So, how do you get the bottle flip to work? How does a bottle flip work? Low center of mass, right? I threw away all the bottles that I had in here. Nah, this will work. So, I have my EJ soda right here. So when a rocket's going up, you're full of fuel, right? So the center of mass, because you have an upper stage on top of it, center of mass is going up. When you're coming back down with a rocket, right? It's actually Coke. I don't know. When you're coming back down with a rocket, you don't have much fuel. All the fuel's down here. And then all your engines are down here. That leaves a low center of mass, so it naturally stabilizes. Right? Naturally stabilize. Anything that flies through the air. It could be a rocket coming back from space. It could be a capsule. It could be an airliner flying around. Anything that comes back from the air or space has a forward center of mass bias. Every single plane. There are some that do some other things, but long story short, center of mass needs to be out in front when you're coming back down, okay? This is true for capsules. This is true for rockets. It's true for whatever. Do I keep my engine for re-entry? Okay, so what are you re-entering? Are you re-entering a capsule? Are you re-entering a rocket stage? What are you doing? Banta! 3 years is up. How have you not banned me yet? Because raisins. What are you trying to bring home? It depends. Because most things fly center of mass first. Some things do not. And there are tricks that you can do to get them to fly different ways. All my cords are tangled up. Tangled up in cords. Hitchhiker pod always messes you over. Okay. A pod, 2 crew cabins, and 1 hitchhiker pod. You too heavy. Too heavy up front. Privet, Kem, как дела? How are you? You're too heavy. So you're trying to re-enter with the pod backwards, right? So the pod's coming in this way, and your crew tanks are down there. Your center of mass is too far forward. You need a heat shield down the bottom, or you need something to move the mass down. Get all your Kerbals into the crew pods if you can, because the capsule is heavier than those crew tanks, so it'll flip around and it'll want to do a nuclear warhead. It'll want to fly nose cone first. All right? Here. Let me teach you a little bit about pods here. Look. All right, so check this out. Take a look-see. This might look like it's complicated. It is not complicated. So during Apollo, right? During Apollo, the command module is coming back from the moon, right? They needed to skip this thing off the atmosphere. So, how do you skip something off the atmosphere? Well, how do you skip a rock over a lake? You ever take a skipper rock, throw a skipper rock, it goes choo, 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 choo. The capsule does that, and it makes that noise too. No, it makes a noise, but I like making noises. It's fun for me, okay? All right? Just let me have fun. Jeez. So, they needed to basically make the capsule turn like this to skip off the atmosphere, right? Notice that your oncoming direction of flight is this way, right? And the x-axis on the capsule is pointed down below your direction of flight. I like making noises too, not necessarily from your mouth. Nice. You'll get along here. All right. So, 2 tricks. The Apollo engineers figured out that you can't have like RCS back here to try and steer the capsule. There's no way that's going to happen. There's no way thrusters back here are going to get the capsule to do this or this. So they came up with an idea. Their center of mass obviously is down low. It's way over here. It's really biased towards the heat shield, right? So that'll get it to stabilize correctly. And then they offset the center of mass too. Okay? They offset the center of mass. Center of mass is off the x-axis line. You see that? So, well, hey, thanks for the subs, guys. Hooded! That makes it so if you spin this capsule, if you roll the capsule with the thrusters instead of try to pitch or yaw, right? If you roll the capsule, you can change the heat shield's angle of attack relative to the direction of flight. So if they flipped around 180 degrees this way, the center of mass would be down here, and the capsule would want to fly like this. The x-axis would be flipped up here. That's how they can steer with the capsule. Every capsule does this. So low and offset center of mass for capsules makes it so you could basically roll the capsule and change the angle of attack on your heat shield. And you can, not only can you come back down, but you can steer where you're landing. You can change it. So if you rotate 90 degrees, your direction of flight is this way. You rotate 90 degrees, your x-axis is going this way. So you're going to fly that way. You're going to drift it through space, through re-entry. See? Keep the center of mass low. Keep it towards the heat shield. So for you, with your crew tanks and your capsule, don't jettison the engine. Don't jettison that engine until after you've made it through re-entry, and then use the parachutes. The engine will keep your center of mass low, but whenever you're making a re-entry vehicle, you have to keep that center of mass low and offset, especially for pods. Well, actually only for pods. If you look at every single capsule nowadays, you look at Dragon, Starliner, it doesn't matter. Every single one of them has an offset center of mass. Every single one. Because they need to steer through re-entry. That's how they get the capsule to come down where they want it to come down. And on top of that, they're doing everything. SpaceX does everything in their power to keep the center of mass on the capsule low. All the equipment for the capsule is down below the crew tank. See that? The crew tank's up here. That's hollow space. All the fuel tanks and everything for the escape system, everything is mounted down low. Heck, this cavity right here, that's the parachute. The parachutes are mounted down low. They're mortars up here. The mortars shoot out and the ropes go through these channels right there. See those squiggly lines? The ropes go through those channels, down past the window, down here, and then another mortar cannons the parachutes out the side, and then the parachutes tilt up and the wires get pulled out of this channel here, and then the capsule has parachutes coming up from the top, right? You don't need to do that because you can't do that type of rigging. You can't do that type of parachute rigging, but everything is shoehorned into the bottom of the capsule. Crew fly on the top. Keep your crew as far away from the hot stuff that happens down here as possible. My weekend was fine, Chief. How about you? Yeah, exactly. Kerbal does not really communicate that very well. The parachutes are extremely heavy. They're extremely heavy. They're extremely heavy, and they're very complicated for what they are, but it's also one of the simplest ways. to get stuff back down. New pupper. Let me see. Oh, nice pupper. Did one of the Apollo pods lose panels on the heat shield during re-entry on one mission? No. No, I don't think so. Good, my friend. Big announcement coming? Oh, yeah. Okay, so apart from heat shields, what other stuff can I use to weigh down the bottom? Anything. Anything that's not Kerbals. Put fuel tanks down there. Who cares if they're empty? That's still mass towards the back. Right? Charney, you ever driven around a pickup truck? Like, once again, I don't know you, so what I try to do is tailor my analogies to people to put it in their wheelhouse so they understand. Okay, no, not really. All right. Pickup trucks have this problem, all right? Most pickup trucks have the drive wheels in the back. The rear wheels are the one that are connected to the engine, right? What's over the rear wheels? Nothing. A pickup bed. That's it. So if you're trying to drive around empty, right? If you're trying to drive around empty, what do you got to do? You got to put stuff in the bed if you want to get traction, or else when you step on the gas, the wheels are just going to spin, right? Because there's nothing over the rear wheels to push them into the ground, right? So what do? They put mass. They put stuff in the pickup truck owners put stuff in the bed to get the wheels to get traction. So you need to do like the aerospace equivalent of that. Put anything that'll get your center of mass lower than the Kerbals, where the Kerbals are. Put anything you can. Monopropellant tanks, fuel tanks. Just put them all down there with the heat shield. Anything. Put anything down there. And you can go into the spaceplane hangar or the VAB, and in the bottom left-hand corner, there will be 3 gauges. One for your center of mass, center of thrust, and center of lift. Just look at your center of mass and look at it with the rest of the vehicle detached. And then look at the pod and see where the center of mass is. Load down that heat shield. Put a blader on it if you have to. Put more ablator than you need. A blader is another story. But yeah, that should do you right. The other thing that you need to learn is delta V. Delta V is... The equation for figuring out delta V is very, 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 very important. Charlie, before you go off and do this stuff, here, listen up, okay? Delta V to rockets is what range, is what a total range is to a car, right? So you fill a car up with gas, you get 500-mile range, or 500 kilometers if you use metric. Just those aren't the same thing, but you get the idea, right? Say you get 500-kilometer range. That'd be that's pretty good, right? Or 500 miles. It really what's 500 kilometers in miles? Like 300 something. So I really appreciate you taking all this time to explain it. That's what I do, Sharni. 320-ish. Okay. Wish I got 500-kilometer range. Yeah, me too, man. So you got 320 miles of range. If you fill your car up with gasoline, right? You fill your car up with gasoline and you get a full tank of gas, how far are you going to go? 320 miles. Well, what if your destination is 400 miles away? You got to stop at the gas station. There's no gas stations in space, so you need a bigger fuel tank. But if you put a bigger fuel tank on, maybe your engine can't move all that extra weight. So you might need a bigger engine, right? Rockets get around this by literally dumping parts of the rocket off that they don't need. That's called staging, right? So first stage, second stage, third stage, etc., right? So delta V is the range that you need to get into space, okay? You have to make sure your rocket has enough fuel to be able to get all the way up into space. Now, delta V is how rockets measure range, but the range is not measured in distance. It's measured in acceleration. That's why I like spaceships, because they go fast. The name of the game with spaceflight is speed. Speed is everything, okay? You screw distance, screw miles, screw kilometers, none of that stuff matters. Range means nothing. Speed is everything. How fast you can accelerate and what speed you can accelerate to before you run out of gas is the most important thing. Spacecraft distances are measured in acceleration, not distance. Okay? That's what delta V means, okay? So you're going to have, to get into Kerbin orbit, you need about, flying that ascent profile that I showed you, you need about 4,000 meters a second delta V. Now, in your staging menu on the VAB and in the SPH, either one, on your staging menu, I think it's actually over there. No, it's over there. It's over there. Sorry, it's backwards for me because I have to... It's over there for me, so that means it's over there for you. You need to look at your staging numbers, and you need to make sure those staging numbers equal 4,000 between your first, second, and third stage. That is very, 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 very important, because if you do not go fast enough, you're not going to space. You have to go fast. You need to have 4,000 meters a second to get to the orbital velocity of 2,300 meters a second, which gets you into space. That's very, very important. Name of the game is speed. Name of the game is speed. That is very, very important. Devil, after finding out your job in the Air Force, shipping out on October 26th. Cool, cool, cool. I got 400 mile range with a Mustang one time when I was hypermiling it back from Michigan. Yep. It's a good time. Yeah, jettison the soft top. We don't need that. Channel your inner Sonic and you'll be right. Previous message is the explanation, correct? Too complicated. Too complicated of an analogy. That's right, Flykin, but it's too complicated for someone that's just getting introduced to this. How big is the tank? 12 gallons. Did you see the good news that I sent you? I'm happy, dude. Get him out of there. Get him out of there. Get him out! The hell with Darren. Screw that guy. Now, when you're coming back down, Charney, you don't need that much fuel. Why? Because the difference between orbit and the difference between a decaying orbit or something that's going to come back down, something that will have Kerbin's gravity pull you back in, is about, I don't know, 50 meters a second if you're at the right altitude. When you're coming back down, you don't need to be doing the exact opposite of what I said, right? It's not just doing the opposite. You're not burning the rocket engine all the way down to slow down. You don't need to do that. The atmosphere will slow you down. When you come back down from space, when you re-enter the atmosphere, re-entry, that heat shield is going to compress air up against it. Compress, not friction, okay? It's going to compress that air. Now, what happens when you compress air? Charney, if you're like me, it's been a little while since physics class in high school, so what helps me is constantly saying this over and over again, or I'll forget. What happens when you compress air? It gets hot. Re-entry heating. Pretty simple. So that re-entry heating, and you compressing the air, creates crazy amounts of drag. And you can use the drag from the planet to come back down. You can use the atmosphere to slow yourself down. It's called aerobraking, right? You use the aerodynamic forces to slow yourself down, aerobraking. And then once you get slow enough, gravity will take over from there. Yeah, Panta, that's true. My 71 Dodge Challenger Big Block 426 Hemi gets 4 miles to the gallon, and that's all I need for the quarter mile. So, Robert, you're not using miles per gallon. You're using smiles per gallon. And wait, you have a 71 Challenger with a Gen 2 Hemi in it? I'm a little jelly. Question is, how much Delta V do you need to come back? You need as much Delta V. If you're in a 100 kilometer by 100 kilometer circular orbit, you only need, I don't know, 100? Just enough to get your PE, your perigee, the lowest point in your orbit, low enough to where the atmosphere is going to slow you down so you come down. Yeah, rocket science is weird, man. It's weird it's everything is backwards. Everything is completely backwards. You need 4,000 Delta V to go up, And you only need 50 to come back. I know. Annoying, isn't it? Big news that EJ is getting a police package, Charger V8 all-wheel drive, and becoming a car YouTuber. Oh, you're half right. You're not half right. I'm Twitch for days, man. Do you use metric or imperial? I can use either one. I don't make a big deal over systems of measurement. Only people that have insecurities do that. I don't care, 4x3, what system you use, as long as everybody's on the same page. I really don't care. Hey, Dara, what's going on? What score would you give Firefly vehicles? Well, in the orbital category, it gets a 10 out of 10. In the fiery explosion category, it blew up, it exploded, and it was a magnificent show. So for the explosion category, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10. So you have insecurities. No, I don't. No, I don't care. Does anybody use fudgicles to measure distance? No, but you could if you wanted to. Arguing about measuring systems is like arguing about which language is more efficient. That's literally the stupidest thing you can do. Like, that's like saying French is more efficient than English. It's like kind of a weird thing to make a big deal out of, don't you think? But if you're in France working on an aerospace engineering project, it probably would help if you spoke French. Just saying. Do it, Charney. I expect pictures when your rocket gets up into space and comes back down. You're gonna put some pictures on Imager and you're gonna show me. I measure everything in smoots. I use Fagizzies. Yep. By the way, last question. But how do I rack up more science points? You need to take the science experiments and, well, run the experiments in different spots around Kerbin and in space. It'll get you more science. There's a qualitative difference between base 10 and any other base. The Imperial system doesn't have a consistent base. I never said that it did, Cameron. Don't get confused. Every time I bring this up, all the metric people get all pissed off. I don't understand. Metric's way easier than Imperial. Of course. Duh. Is it easier to speak Spanish than it is to speak Japanese? But you don't see everybody going around and say, hey, speak Spanish because it makes more sense. You guys are crazy. Who cares? It doesn't matter. If I say 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch is the same exact thing as 12.7 millimeters. Who cares? You guys are weird, man. I don't care. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say that metric isn't easier. Of course it's easier. Duh. Use what metric system makes the use what metric system makes the most sense. Nice Freudian slip. No. Use what makes the most sense. Ship speeds measured in knots. Why? Because ships plot course on longitude and latitude. It makes way more sense to use knots. No, wait, you can drive around? Charney, I make trucks in Kerbal all the time. Oh, dude, you should see. Yeah, man. Yeah, you don't need to just build rockets. You can make boats in KSP if you really want to. You can make boats, you can make ships, you can make trucks. Heck, dude, the way I play is like, I've been playing Kerbal for a decade, and I've ran out of things that are a challenge, so I try to come up with these crazy tasks, like building my own launch site. That's what I'm going to work on today. Dude, I make all kinds of stuff. If you're on PC and you want to go download some of the stuff, here, check this out, dude. I have all kinds of crazy stuff on here. My stuff, my crafts. So, I build SSTOs. That's what I've been working on right now. I build launch complexes, dude. See? I build vertical integration buildings, and I build my rockets outside of the VAB. Because I'm weird. I make telescoping cranes, I have trucks, I have jeeps, I have all kinds of stuff. You never know what you're going to need for recovery. I have helicopters, everything, dude. I have ships.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Recovery vehicles. You never know when your capsule's going to go down into water. You have to go and get it. I have cargo planes that I make that fly around. Dude, we got all kinds of stuff.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff is older, so it probably doesn't work. Probably doesn't work anymore. There's the truck right there. I have like a general purpose utility truck that's based off of the U.S. Army's Heavy Expanded Mobility Tactical Truck, or the HEMTT. I just made one in KSP. And man, is that thing useful. Is the Contra Rotator heli on here? I don't think so. See, I make all kinds of stuff. Trucks, cars, snow speeders for when the Imperial AT-ATs come. Docking port's still super weak for weight support, right? Yeah. Yeah, Scary, the way I like to describe docking ports to people is docking ports are just the bolt. The bolt doesn't carry the structure in a design. If you have two flanges and you hook them together and then you bolt it together, that's not, the bolts don't carry the structural load. No, the flange does. So make a flange and use docking ports as the bolt to keep it held together. After 1.12, it ruined all your big ships. Yep. Yeah, JPL Repo has a mod up on the forums that should fix that. Wait, so recovering using a tracking station is not a thing? Oh, no, you can do that. No. Yeah, you can absolutely do that. That's how I play, dude. I play hard mode. I play higher difficulty. Much higher difficulty. I mean, Charlie, I've been playing this game for 10 years, man. 10 years. I started streaming KSP, because I'm 33, so I got some years on you. But I started playing KSP when I'm 24. When I was 24. I'm 33. I've been streaming this game for 10 years. Yeah, dude. When you get to 10,000 hours, man, you're gonna run out of stuff to do. I like making a challenge. I like making stuff difficult. I always choose the hard path. I always will make it more difficult. That's how you get better at this. I've noticed you got the new Black Sharks. They're the wireless ones. I just have them wired right now. You're at 45 hours, dude. I'm at I'm not trying to brag. I easily over 10,000 hours. 10,000. I've been playing Kerbal every day since 2012. Bro, I have a bad problem. I've been doing this professionally as my job since 2015. Kerbal is my main game. I play that game way more than everything else, dude. You were at 10,000 hours 2 years ago. I don't keep track, man. Yeah, and then there's mods, too. I don't even play with mods. And actually, yes, the Contra rotating helicopter is on Kerbal X. It's right there. See last puss. Puss. You know that IOTA 1 music you play on stream? If you allow me to put a link, I can show you the IOTA 2 song that only has 30 views. Yeah, mods, can we get a permit for Nicholas? It's a shame that there aren't more games like Kerbal. Well, Riv, my job is to go and find those damn games, like Starbase, Satisfactory, Factorio. I like games that you learn something from, right? And don't get me wrong, I was a semi-pro Counter-Strike player for a really long time. I played Counter-Strike and Call of Duty semi-pro once upon a time. What do you get out of that? It doesn't teach you anything. It teaches you how to fire a fake gun. Great. Control spray, because you're going to use that. You're going to use that in real life. You're going to use that skill. You know, great, I can control spray. Great. I can call the cross on Dust 2 and see how many guys are going middle, and you could pick middle through the doors on Dust 2. Good frigging job. Great. That's a really useful life skill. It's a good life skill if you're Summit. Love that guy. Summit's a great streamer. It's good if you're Ninja and you can shoot people through boxes and stuff, or whatever he does in Fortnite. That's a great skill to have. But not everybody can be those guys, you know? I feel personally attacked right now. I like games that teach you that you get something out of. Kerbal, you learn a little bit at a fundamental level how spacecraft work. It's a taste. It's like a dealer giving you, hey, you want to try this free sample, you know, No, it's not Summit Racing.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Yeah, point at your feet and hit someone. Yeah, it's because of spray control. Yeah, Charney. Don't get me wrong. I love Counter-Strike.
Discovery, go at
I'm a really big Counter-Strike fan. Like, guys, I started playing CS in 1.5. Pre-Dual Elites, FAMAS, Galil, and freaking Riot Shield. Freaking Riot Shield, man. I build submarines in Barotrauma, and I design entire ship systems and machines and space engineers too. Yeah, Riv. I mean, that's why I started playing Starbase, man. We're gonna play early hours Kerbal today, but Riot Shield was OP, dude, for sure, man. I hated that thing. You gotta hit the guy right in the box. Oh, what a crock. I'm really happy they took that out in Source. ¿Cómo estás, banana? Oh, DSP, Charney, don't get, dude. I played Dyson once. I played Dyson once on stream, and before I knew what was going on, I was like 10 hours deep. I started playing at like noontime, and I'm like, oh, this game seems pretty cool. 5 minutes later, it's midnight, and like not midnight, it's like 10 p.m. and I'm like, oh damn, this game's dangerous. I gotta be careful. I gotta be careful, man. There's so many addicting games out there. Was it 12, Chief? I don't remember. Didn't I see you on Global Offensive recently? Bio, I play off stream, guys. I don't make any secret out of that. I play off stream. I don't want to play on stream. But, dude, I don't know, like, if I leveled up or something in real life, Counter-Strike doesn't piss me off anymore. Strangest thing. Doesn't make me mad. I don't know. And don't get me wrong, when I played pro or like semi-pro, I wasn't ever anything special, I'll be honest with you. When I played like semi-pro, I never got mad. And then there was a time where I reinstalled, like I installed CS:GO in like 2017, and I would get really mad at the game. So much so where I still refuse to stream it to this day. Right? And then, like, kind of all of a sudden, I had the hankering to play Counter-Strike the other day. Like, I don't know, about 2-3 weeks ago. Nothing. Strangest thing. I just kind of flipped back to not getting mad at Counter-Strike. It's weird, man. Difference of lifestyle? I don't know. I think it's just the mentality, I guess. Racing games still grind my gears a little bit. Especially when I money shift in racing games. Do you have a Discord or something where I can post my ship and stuff? Yeah, ! Discord, dude. You're more than welcome. If you have KSP questions, just come in here. Charney, you can ask me anytime, anywhere, any game. Doesn't matter what I'm playing. You can ask me a question about space or KSP. I'll take the time to answer it. Hey, gameplay, what's going on? People say the metric system is better for one thing and Imperial is better for another. And forget cubits! 1 cubit plus 1 meter is exactly 5 feet. People see 3 separate measuring systems, but I see 1 large measuring system. Gameplay, yeah. I mean, dude, I don't make a big deal out of measuring systems. I don't care about using metric. That doesn't bother me. I don't care about using Imperial. That does not bother me. We could use kilofeet for all I care. I don't care. We could use bananas. As long as everybody's on the same page, that doesn't matter. I try, Johnny. I try. It's what I do, man. When I get really good at a game and then get washed, it takes a long time for me able to play it just for fun. I know what you mean, Prey. I know. Hey, Chaotic, thanks for the subs, man. 5 subs from Chaotic. All right. There is a banana in the kitchen. Last, please. It keeps getting lost. Like my raincoat. When you gonna do the Colorado hill climb race in Assetto or Beam? Oh, Pikes Peak? Oh, yeah. We should do that.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Hey, Killian. Welcome to Mission Control. You go at throttle up. I'm currently addicted to Ultimate General Civil War. Nice. Yeah. Woot! ULA birthday swag pack incoming. I'm down for a peak run. Here, let me get this thing figured out, and then we'll go from there. Okay. All right. So, what did I leave out there last time? Let's go. So, I found a nice flat spot out here to build a new launch site, guys. the pad does not move around out there. It's as flat as the plates. So what I did was I left a ground anchor with a docking port marking the spot where it's flat enough. If you look, I mean, the docking port seems to have drifted a little bit, but that's okay. This area right here, it's about this big, totally flat, and it's out of render range of the pad. You're not in render range. It's not in render range of the museum. That's where I keep all my spaceflight junk. So, Charney, when I go and get stuff, like capsules and whatever from past missions, and they're one-use capsules, I'll put them out here. A lot of my space program's early test articles, I kept them. I keep them out in the field. Should probably put them inside, but these are all crashed vehicles that I haven't recovered yet. I don't have a ship in this save yet that I can go and get. It's pretty much a museum, yeah. It has all my heritage flight hardware, yeah, from past programs. Yep. This out here, though, is where I'm going to put a second launch complex. With no mods. We are going to build a launch complex out here. I already have the launch complex made. I basically just got to roll it out here. Last, please. You should hold a roast my KSP craft early hours one day. Older articles being left outside. Oh, gosh. Nova, stop. I would not do that in real life. You're going to dock the complex to the ground pylon. I think so, Sneaky. Is that docking port bolted to the ground? What's that part? Ground anchors. They added ground anchors in 1.12. You can bolt stuff to the ground. This is connected to that. Yeah, it doesn't look like it because there's nothing there, but yeah, it is connected. Alright, so... Alright, I'm going to be lurking, trying to put those tips into action. Godspeed, sir. Do I need 4 stages worth of engines to get into and back from orbit? Depends. I'm so glad to have found you. I'm on a mission from Gad. It depends, dude. Depends on what you're trying to do. 2 stages is probably the best bang for your buck. But, Charney, another thing you got to understand is that this game just isn't it's rocket science, right? But it's also a lot of engineering. Okay, it's rocket engineering. The biggest thing about engineering in general is what are you trying to do? That's it. The Saturn V
Discovery,
example. Saturn V, a case in point. Chat, how many stages is the Saturn V? Hey, Xerax, 7-month resub.
Discovery, go at
5. Okay, let me rephrase that. How many stages does the Saturn V need to get into low Earth orbit? A dock! Exactly! So you have the S1C. Your first stage, 2, 3. You have the S1C, your first stage. From that white line down, that's your first stage. And then you have your S2. From the cone down to that white line, that's your second stage. And then you have a third stage. The third stage is the S4B. Alright? Charney, these 2 do the work. These are the ones that get you into space. This one is the one that gets you into orbit. So, this stage burns, it falls off. This stage burns, it falls off. When this stage runs out of gas, right? Or runs out of propellant, if we want to get more technical now. When you run out of propellants with this stage, you are just short of orbit. You're just short of orbit. Why do they do that? They don't want this thing getting stuck up in space. Bad idea. This thing, the S4B, the third stage, circularizes the rocket around Earth, and then it pushes the lunar lander, which is inside of the vehicle stage adapter here, and the command service module. It'll accelerate them, keyword, to a velocity called TLI, translunar injection velocity. All right? Translunar injection velocity is about 25,000 miles an hour. It accelerates to 25,000 miles an hour. If the Saturn V could not accelerate the lander and the capsule to 25,000 miles an hour, it could not get to the moon. Full stop. That's delta V. These two right here have about 9 kilometers a second delta V. They can accelerate you to about 28,000 kilometers an hour, give or take. Now, why is there a difference between that? Because this thing has to fly through the atmosphere. Atmospheric drag is the difference, and it also has to fight against that freaking gravity thing. That's really a pain in the butt. But you need 3 stages to get to the moon. You need to be able to accelerate that lander and that command service module with the people inside to 25,000 miles an hour. That's why the Saturn V has 3 stages. Now, let's look at its little brother. Saturn 1B. Same thing, believe it or not. Very similar. It's not the same thing at all, is it? It has the same upper stage. Same 3rd stage. That's an S4B. It's the same thing. And then you have a vehicle stage adapter right here. Same thing. There's no lander in it because with the lander in it, having this first stage down here, you cannot accelerate that to orbital velocity because it's too heavy. You're going into an Amazon orbit here, meaning you're coming right back down. Sorry, I don't mean to harp on Amazon so much. I actually like Blue Origin. I just think it's funny to do it. They know. I hope that Blue Origin people know that I'm joshing you. I know more. I know what Blue Origin's up to. That Project Jarvis stuff. That's gonna be rad. I wish them all the best. Which one do you bolt Nerva to? Actually, Geeson, they were gonna use S4Bs as Nerva stages. Yeah, remove the common bulkhead. Yeah, that's what they were gonna do. Was the startup for the J2 helium or peroxide? It's a spark igniter. See, Kraken. So check this out. This is the same thing, only no lander inside. So you cut your payload mass in half. This thing is only designed to get into low Earth orbit. It is not designed to go to the moon. Because it's not designed to go to the moon, despite having a similar 3rd or upper stage and capsule, right? No lander. This is a 2-stage solution. This is just designed to get that up there. This is just designed to get that into low Earth orbit, the command service module. Its bigger brother is designed to get that same command service module and a 50,000 pound lander, not just into low Earth orbit, but all the way to the moon. See how much bigger of a rocket you need? The name of the game is speed, man. You need a bigger rocket to accelerate bigger payloads to go further in space. That's what Delta V is all about. It's 15 tons. I believe the lander is 25,000 kilos, which would be about 50,000 pounds. It's actually a little more than that, I think. I'd have to go look. Some of this is off the top of my head, Sharny. You're gonna have to bear with me. Didn't the Saturn 1B also have like 0.5 tons extra that it could lift up? Yeah, the lander's heavy. Dude, this stuff's heavy. Oh yeah, here, let's look. So Apollo LEM. Let's try that. Lunar module. What's its mass? 15,200 kilos. And then the extended range missions that were on 15, 16, and 17, 16,400. So it's not that heavy. The command service module is that heavy. Guaranteed. Yeah, see, look at these numbers. For the lunar orbit one, 28,800 kilos. So you're carrying almost 100,000 pounds of mass up top. Almost 50,000 kilos of lander, service module, and people. So that's why you need a way bigger rocket to move way bigger things into space. Last pulse. Also, today's the anniversary of the first V2C launch. Cool. I forgot, are the engines for the S1B still used today? Negative. They would be if Constellation was a thing. You also need to take into account thrust to weight. Yeah, you need enough to be able to push the rocket up, Jarny. Yeah, that's the other thing. Once again, that's the first thing I said. Keep in mind, it's rocket science. You chose to have fun with a game about rocket science. This isn't freaking a shooting game. This isn't Counter-Strike. All right? It gets complicated. There is a learning curve for this game. The learning curve is like the Grand Canyon. Just whoop.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
And what I like to say is the further you go down that curve, the further you fall down the rabbit hole. That's how that works. Hey! Pee pee poo poo! That was 5 subs. Thanks, buddy. So why does the first stage of the Saturn 1B look like a bunch of smaller rockets bolted together? Because it is. Yeah, it is. Jonas? Yeah, that's because it is. Actually, you really want to know? That's a bunch of V2s. Serious. Kind of. It's a bunch of V2 fuselages all bolted together. How the heck is that true? Well, the Aggregate 4, von Braun's rocket, right? The one that he made for Mustache Man. We don't like him, remember? Von Braun's okay, all right? He invented the Aggregate 4, and then he went to the U.S. The Aggregate 4's lineage, so the next version of the Aggregate 4, which would have been the Aggregate 6, is the Redstone missile. PGM-111 Redstone. It's an intermediate range ballistic missile. IRBM for short. The Redstone evolved into the Jupiter rocket, which was the Redstone's bigger brother. And then it evolved into the Juno rocket.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
And then it evolved into the Jupiter C rocket. And to save money, with the Saturn 1B, to save money, all they did was take a bunch of Redstone missiles, well, Jupiter and Juno missiles, and tape them together. That's all they did. Yep. 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 Amazing content. Let's go bananas! Blues Brothers shirt? I'm on a mission from Gad. There you go, Ernock. Heck yeah. Hey, Ernock, what are you doing on the 22nd, 23rd, and the 24th of September? Asking for a friend. I'm not. Wasn't Juno known as Jupiter 2? I think so. Can I see one of your crazier long-distance crafts? What do you want to see? So in this save, Charney, I like my space program to tell a story. That's part of my rule set. Part of my rule set is telling a story. That's what I enjoy doing. I don't really have any long-range stuff in this save just yet. But I can show you the biggest vehicle we have in this save right now. Okay, Ernock. No. Charney ain't ready for that, Tessa. So, I started in this save building just small rockets. Very small stuff. Not very complicated, like this. Oh, that's just the transporter. Remember, I build my stuff outside of the VAB, so I need a bunch of transport trucks to move this stuff around. Where from the boot is your family from, PB? Not southern Italy. Northern Parma is where my family comes from. So I started with this little tiny boy rocket called Imahara. We named it because I started the mission mode save right around when Grand Imahara passed. So we started with this little rocket, little guy. And then we moved to Vehicle 2. Vehicle LV2, which is my Freedom 7 rocket. It's a kind of a bigger version of this. Master design, here we go. Here's a Freedom rocket. 2-stage, and the first stage is light enough to be landed. I can parachute the first stage down because it's not very heavy. Freedom is a good rocket. It's decent. Medium duty. And then, from there, I moved to the Freedom 10 rocket. Freedom 10 rocket is this rocket with a bigger fuselage, or a bigger diameter. Where is it? Here we go. This is this rocket with a bigger diameter. The ring down the bottom is so it can fly back and land. Yes, the first stage turns into an airplane with a circular toroidal wing. And it flies back engines first like an airplane. Why? Because Charney's center of mass forward makes it fly correctly. I don't have grid fins. I have stabilizers like an airplane. So on the Freedom rocket, the first stage would go up into space, right? It would go up into space. Second stage would jettison. It would go do its thing up in space. The first stage would come back down. Because it has no fuel and all this stuff is down at the bottom, it wants to fly engines first through space. Flies engines first through space. Once we get through re-entry, because it makes it through, because we're not coming back from orbit. We're coming back from a suborbital trajectory, so the re-entry heating is mitigatable, right? Meaning it's not as bad. And then I turn the jet engines on, and my grid fins are pitch, yaw, roll, and then I just fly it back like an airplane back to KSC. Yep. I reused stages a bunch of times. Yeah. We had one core launch like 4 payloads into space or something. I don't recover. I don't recover the thing. I tow this thing right back to the launch site, take a crane, put it back on the pad, fill it up, and fly it again. That's at least what I did. And then we moved to Launch Vehicle 4. LV4 was just a concept. It didn't get any further than that. This was a bigger version of Freedom. I only showed this off on one stream. LV4 would have been a heavy lift rocket. It never got off the drawing board. But it was a good rocket. It was a little mini SLS. It was like halfway between Ariane 5 and SLS in terms of real-life comparison. It could move 18 tons into space, no problem. And then everything was going good with LV4's design, and then I killed Jeb, and chat got mad at me. Chat got mad at me. And they can vote to cancel certain programs in my space program. My space program is kind of at the whim of chat. You can vote on polls that are integrated with my website about the direction of the space program. And chat said, stop making expendable rockets and start making reusable ones. Okay, so that's what I did. And then we started the LV5 program. The LV5 program started off with a small SSTO that's based off of Lockheed Martin's Venture Star. Based off of it, not an exact replica. This thing flies all the way up into space and comes right back down. It has a payload bay on the top, and it deploys it, and it comes back. Now, it is fully reusable. We can launch it again and again and again and again. It lands on the runway like an airplane. I can tow it back to the runway, back to my launch sites. We can put it back on the launch site, fuel it up, put new payload in, and go. It takes about an hour to fly 2 missions with this thing because I have to go through the whole integration process, but that's fine. That's what I like doing. It's what I enjoy. I can't even understand all of this. I know. But you asked. You want to see the biggest one? The reason why I explained everything is because the biggest thing that we've made is a scaled up version of this. It doesn't fly. It flies actually really well. It doesn't land very well. I have to fix it. So, this is LV5A. LV5B is this thing's bigger brother. Just like the Saturn V is the Saturn 1B's bigger brother. Here's LV5B, the Jeb Star. I named it after Jeb. This thing is a 100% reusable, not right now, asterisk, because I have problems with it. When it lands, it blows up. I'm fixing that. This is supposed to be a fully reusable heavy lift launch vehicle. It's supposed to take off like a rocket and land like an airplane. The whole thing makes it into space. No staging, no dropping parts off, no nothing. The only parts that come out of this thing are parts that come out of the payload bay. It has a 36 metric ton payload capacity. I wouldn't go over 25 though, so I'll just say 25,000 kilograms. So this thing can move an Apollo CSM into space. No. Yeah. It has problems when it lands. It likes to just catastrophically explode and into a bunch of pieces. Yeah. And like Jeb, it crashes. Yep, we've lost 4 or 5 prototypes from crashing. I forget how many. It hasn't been ideal with this test program. That's how you learn, that's right. I put in the request to my DM, but my DM didn't like it. I had to fudge man a bit to get him to take it, so I'll let you know as soon as I know. Okay. It's supposed to be like the Venture Star 4x3 without the arrow spikes, because I don't have arrow spikes. There's no linear arrow spikes in this game that can replicate the RS-2200, so I used its closest counterpart, shuttle engines. Yep. Yep. And I built a launch complex for this, and it's freaking huge. And it's really, it's a lot of work. But this is what I like doing. Hey, Grab Shark. How many small boys you still need to launch this again? I've lost count. I've lost count. Yep. Your boys lost count. It's a lot. This thing hurts when I lose it, Johnny. It hurts. It hurts because it costs $500,000. And when I lose one, I'm $500,000 in the hole, which really sucks, and I've lost 4 of them. Oh, boy. How do you think Eric Berger would comment on your SSDO program? It's too complicated, it's too expensive, blah, 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 blah. Okay, more noob question. What should I progress in your tech tree? What you need. What you need. Remember, engineering, what are you trying to do? Engineering is about application. What are you trying to do? Not why did you do this way? What are you trying to do? Do you need a bigger engine for a bigger rocket so you can move a bigger payload into space? Go down fuel tanks. Go down to the fuel tanks. Get fuel tanks and engines. It's all about what you need. This is just another EJSA jobs program. Remember, yeah, the other thing is that if you go down here, down the science trees, and get the science equipment unlocked, you can get science faster, and you can unlock this stuff faster. But in order to do that, you need to get bigger stuff into space. So it's kind of, it's all about application. It's what you need. Yep. And Roro, engineering is about application. There's nothing, there's no other way around that. It's about application. It's about what you're trying to make. Midge! What's going on? Midge-sama. Oh man, yawning already. That's not a good sign. Okay. About to fall asleep? Yeah, I was gonna say, it's a little late over there. Anyway, how you been? Did you have a good Labor Day? Do you celebrate Labor Day? Yeah, I assume, yeah. Okie dokie. So, small SSDO launch pad. That's what we're building the launch site for today. Let's, oh, nope, that's the B1 pad. Okay, this is, yeah, that's the big SSD. Yeah, we don't want that. You don't get normal holidays? Well, that's a shame. Labor Day sucked for me. My 2019 Traverse transmission crapped the bed. I want to say it, Havix. I want to say it so bad. I want to say it so bad, but it's such a messed up thing to say, but I still want to say it. Can I say it? Is it alright? Can I say it, please? Havix, if you say don't say it, I won't say it. Chevy bad, yes, agreed now. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Oh, that sucks though, man. But fortunately, GM parts are pretty plentiful. Even for a Traverse, you should be able to find parts. It shouldn't be an issue. Chevy bad. Chevy bad. Chevy bad. Man, you know what sucks? Literally, so I have... Let's see. I have a lot of cousins, all right? Let's say 8 Italians. Cousins everywhere. Family. Never turn your back on family. have cousins everywhere. Literally every single one of them, except for me and one other one, are Chevy guys. And every time we have a family gathering, I have to deal with these frigging bow tie people. Hey, it's from Ford. Found on road dead. Am I right? I'm like, have to deal with these annoying Chevy fans. They are like gnats at a barbecue. They just, hey, found on road dead. Am I right? Fix it or repair daily. Anyway, moving on. What about Pontiacs? Blue shorts. The honest truth is I don't really mind GM, to be honest with you. I just like making fun of them. It's really funny, actually. It's really funny how mad they get. And then they like doing it to me because it's really funny how mad I get. But we don't care. At least with me and my family, it's about what goes fast. We really don't care what it is. If it goes fast, it's cool, you know. But yeah, no, that doesn't stop us from throwing it around left and right. I'm more of an Audi and a Volkswagen guy, but I guess that's a Europe thing. German cars. Chevy people, German cars, am I right? Yeah, I put the big tanks from the other SSDO's pad out here. But Ford has that really nice Mach-E Mustang. Alright, mistakes were made, Midge. We don't talk about that, okay? Okay? Mistakes were made. Pretty much all car companies in the market now are good. No. No, that's not true at all, Forlorn. Don't. No. No. That's not true at all. Don't spread that lie. Don't spread those lies in here. Anyways, how do we shrink this? We don't need to. Did Astra make the news today? Should they have made the news today? Why are you dressed like a police officer? Because I am one? See last. Can hear every valve rattle on long extended trips. Nice acronyms. But, yeah. I don't know, the stock took about a 10% hit this morning. Ooh. Buy the dip! That's not financial advice. Don't listen to me. I'm just some idiot on the internet. Alright. So, music, lowrider, lowrider, Donnie, lowrider. Let's go over here. Meow. All right, Midge. Good night. Sleep well. Sleep well, Midge-sama. So, this might look like I'm just putting a bunch of wheels on the pad to try and just literally roll the launch pad all the way over to the place where where we're gonna build it. And the reason why it looks like that is because, I mean, yeah, pretty much, yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yes. Thanks so much for spending the time. Hey, don't worry about it. All good. That's what I do. That's my meal ticket, Charney. I make money by teaching people. This is a STEM stream, dude. That's what I do. This ain't yo pappy's stream, even though, I don't know. My dad likes to stream, just saying. Just saying. Tips for designing a mining refining base. Best flat ground I found is 50% ore. The drill heads get hot. You're gonna need radiators, John. You're gonna need radiators and a lot of solar panels. They're power hungry. They've gone mad. Not safe for Pappy. Just out of curiosity, do you remember the day that you realized you were a STEM streamer? I didn't really have one particular day where I realized it or not, Hokey. You know what got me into doing this? All right, when I... This is a little embarrassing, but hey, whatever. When I was younger and I started playing KSP, all right, I already liked space, but there was this push in the KSP community to see who could do the craziest stuff, right? Build a bigger lifter. Do this, do that. Land bigger things on the moon. Land bigger things here, land bigger things there, etc., etc. And I saw that, you know, I could make bigger things, no problem. But people often had questions about this stuff that I didn't know the answer to. And I didn't want to get caught with my pants down on stream, so to speak. I mean, you don't want to do that anyway, but figuratively and literally. How many drills in refineries? It depends. You need to look at the rate that the drill extracts. You need to look at the rate the ISOU refines resources. Battery power consumption, what planet you're landing it on, how long the night cycle is. Because you're not going to gain power at night unless you use a fuel cell. There's a lot of stuff to take into account, John. But a space race, if you will. So I found that, you know, I had a decent understanding of how to play KSP. I was pretty good at it. But people kept asking me questions about rocket science. I didn't know anything about it. And me being a stupid 20-something was like, I want to learn everything about this. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still kind of am like that today. But I wanted to be able to answer every single freaking question. All these people had all these questions. And at the time, we were coming off the end of the shuttle program in 2012, 2013, right? And everybody had questions about the space shuttle. Falcon 9, that was a pipe dream at that point. I mean, it launched 3 or 4 times. That's about it, right? So I wanted to be seen as that guy that knows everything. I know everything about space. Little did I realize in my arrogance how complicated that would actually be to achieve. But, hey, I was 23, 24 when I started doing this. I didn't know any better. Whatever. Let's try to know everything. Right? So I tried to be that guy that knows everything. If anybody has been out in the real world, it's very... Yeah, the people that try to know everything, yeah, those people suck. Yeah, I figured that one out later. Yeah, you don't know everything. The second that I kind of realized that I teach people this stuff and, you know, the second that I realized that hang on, I lost my train of thought. The second that I, you know, realized that I know dick is when I started to be better at this. I started to be a better teacher. I started to teach this stuff better. I never ever wanted to admit that I never wanted to say I don't know on a stream. Oh, I don't know. Like, you know, I never wanted to do that. Nowadays, I do it all the time because I don't know everything about rocket science. Dude, I don't know anything about rocket science, to be honest. Comparatively to someone that's actually a rocket scientist, I know nothing. I know nothing. All right? And, Hokey, it's when I made that flip, I can distinctly remember, because I wanted to know everything about the shuttle, right? And we launched the shuttles, and we know everything. And then sometime in like 2015, 2016, people got bored of me launching shuttles all the time, right? You remember that. So I had to start learning about other rockets, the single-stick rockets, right? The Delta IV, Atlas V. I started learning about those because people were asking me questions about those rockets because they got bored of asking questions about the shuttle. So I had to learn about those. And I had to learn how those work. And the second I started doing that and started kind of admitting to myself that I don't know everything and that it's kind of okay to not know the answer to a question, that's when I started, that's what really when I came into my own as a STEM educator, I think. Doing STEM outreach. I just do outreach. I get people psyched up about this and show them what you could do if you really wanted to, right? And it turns out that I have a knack for explaining things in ways that people can understand. I don't know how. I don't know where that came from. Maybe it's because my parents. My dad was a coach. He's like my dad's like a Ted Lasso for coaching. Little bit more Led Tasso than anything. But if people understand that reference. Dunning-Kruger effect. Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, my parents are both sports nuts. They're both athletic trainers by trade. No, that is not the career path that they chose, but my parents watch sports all the time. Think like Fry's parents in Futurama. Kind of like that, but a little not as douchey, I guess. Yeah. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Love you. Yeah. I think that's where I get it from. I've been around coaching my entire life. My dad coached football, baseball, basketball. When I was growing up, my dad was the coach. Yeah, I was that kid. Ugh, gross. But, yeah, I've just been around coaching all my life. Turns out I'm actually pretty good at explaining things because when you're around that for long periods of time, you learn how to explain and understand things to people. Explain and make people understand things. So I don't know. Turns out I just have a knack for explaining things. I blame my parents. I blame my parents on that one. My parents would always try to explain something in a way that reduces it to its base concept. Because that's what you need to do when you're out on the field. Because if you're playing football, for instance, you're only going to have a certain amount of time to react to a situation. So you have to learn to think quickly. This is like Sports 101. Or we can translate it into esports, right? We could go right back to Counter-Strike, okay? If you're playing Inferno and your CT side, Boiler picking middle, right? And you see 4 guys go up the middle to Banana, what are you going to call as the mid player? Well, that's most likely a B push, right? But you're only going to have a certain second to say that to your teammates before they get overrun at B site, right? Am I right? It doesn't matter if it's esports or regular sports. You have to be able to react to those situations quickly, so it helps explaining things very simply. Keep the explanation simple. That's why I always use analogies. I always use analogies as much as possible, and that's why I use cars a lot as well. Cars are very easy. Everybody understands cars. So, yeah, I don't know the exact point, Hokey, but sometime around 2015, 2016 is when I realized, when I didn't know everything, that I could use this to teach not only you guys, but myself. Because, you know what? A good teacher is always learning. In fact, the teachers that play like, my authority is the rule of law of the classroom, those teachers suck. You know those teachers. No, I'm always right. You're always wrong. I'm the teacher. I have to be right. Those people suck as teachers. They're terrible teachers. Teachers should be learning just as much as the kids are learning. Firm believer. Followed for cars. Hell yeah, Boki. You're going to like the announcement today. Trust me. You do. It's strange how you do it because I can read books and watch YouTube videos of rockets all day. I still won't absorb the info as much as I do from one of your explanations. Yep. Authority doesn't allow free thinking. Well, Boki, that's my other theory about teaching people. My theory about teaching people is that you have to tailor a response. It has to be one-on-one. That's why I'm good at explaining things, and that's why I try to get to know people about things. I try to get to know you guys, what's going on in your life. That'll help me explain things to you a lot better. That's why my explanations on things are so ridiculously potent, because I know you, and you know me. Simple as that. Dude, nothing, dude, I get a nice, good rush from teaching people stuff. It's a really good feeling. Okay, Slick, but tell me something, David. Let me tell you something about your skills. As of right now, they mean precisely dick. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I had that kind of coming to Jesus moment in like 2015, 2016, where somebody asked me a question about Delta 4 and I did not know the answer. I didn't even, I didn't know. For someone looking up to space so much, you're incredibly down to earth. That's what makes you so easy to understand. Right on, dude. Sorry for making things existential, but it's sometimes good to look at the past. Absolutely. There's no explanation for you. No comment. No comment for them. I ain't touching that one. During college, I took a virtual basic class that was new to the class list. The instructor was learning it chapter ahead of what was being taught and would rely on us sometimes to assist in the lessons. And I bet you learned a lot from that class, Car Toys. Great shirt, what a movie. It's one of my favorite movies, Staples. Currently, we're mostly just chatting. Yeah, I really should get back to playing Kerbal, guys, but yeah. Because of you, I looked up the Coyote versus LS differences. Can we do Roast My Craft briefly? As long as it's your stuff. As long as it's your stuff. People roast my stuff all the time, Charney. So thoughts on intelligent life not on Earth? Yeah, Chow, the universe is too big. There's something out there. We should go and find it. I'll tell you what. I want Starship Troopers or Ender's Game. I do not want Independence Day, if you catch my drift. I like using movie references. I don't know if you realize that. This looks like a cargo pod racer. Yeah, Chow, I don't want to be the ones being found, because that means we're getting Prime Directive at best case scenario. Worst case scenario, we will get steamrolled like a car would drive over an anthill without even thinking about it. Yeah, I want to be the ones finding other species, not vice versa. Yeah, so there's probably something out there, and I think if we want to survive as a species on a galactic scale, we should be the ones finding it. Yeah. Yeah, we should do that. That would be very important. So you want a space war? No? Have you seen the Tomorrow War? No. And then we destroy them! Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, best case scenario, we Prime Directive them, Pete. Worst case scenario, we stomp them out Ender's Game style. Or Starship Trooper style. Pick your poison. It's afraid! Yeah! Yeah! Would you like to know more? It looks like a dragster. It's a launch pad. Or a pod. I mean, pod racer could work too. I've made pod racers in this game. It ended about as good as Siboba's pod did. Podo! Alright, so we put wheels on this thing. I need jet engines to move it around, because towing a pad that weighs 323,000 kilograms is probably going to do some havoc on a truck's drivetrain. Where can I post my craft into Discord? Just post the link in here, Charney. It's fine. Didn't you get rid of the Mark III liquid fuel? Oh, yeah. Well, that was on the base plate pad. I still got to modify this. I forgot about that. Oh, that's what I was going to do today. Oh, that's a big project. I don't know if I have time before break to do that. Oh, I don't have an Imager account. So, just go to Imager.com and just drag the link, drag the picture onto there. It'll upload it. You don't need an account. Wouldn't a civilization capable of interstellar travel most likely be peaceful? Wouldn't a civilization with nuclear warheads most likely be peaceful? I don't know, Lunprod. It depends. But at the end of the day, in terms of humans, he who dies with the most toys wins. Hey, Pete! 20 subs. Thanks, man. Heck yeah. Get some. That's awesome. Message before last. Cool sci-fi book that's on topic. Okie dokie. You might like an old sci-fi book that flips sci-fi tropes on their head. It's a First Contact book, but instead the humans are the much more advanced ones and the aliens are stupid and primitive. Yeah. You just had a great week paying it forward. Right. Right. Hell yeah. Let's go. Let's go, man. Wicked. Booyakasha. Alright. Let's take a look, Jarny. Let's see what you got for me up in here. Oh! Ketchup! I love it! No. Alright. Let's take a look. Okay. Okay. Are the heat tiles on Starship Tufrock? They are Tufrock. Yep. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Okay. 1306. Okay. Ooh. Okay. So, from here... Oh, no, there's a decoupler right there. Okay. Okay. Alright, I see it. I see what we're doing here. Okay, so you have 4 SRBs and then a liquid fuel core stage with what... Okay, so you have some control surfaces there, and it looks like an LVT-30, so a Reliant engine. Okay, it's a swivel. Okay, all right. So you have the gimbal. Yeah, you'd want gimbal in there because okay, cool. You're short on Delta V here. Your payload's way too big. Yeah, you need a bigger rocket. Not even those 4 thumpers are gonna get you what you need. You're way short. So you have 1306. 1306 is how much Delta V these all have, and then you have the center core. And that center core is 581. You need about 4,000 to get into space. This number right here this number coupled with that number needs to read 4,000. So this probably gets you, let me look at this. This probably gets you to like 600-700 meters a second and then it runs out of fuel. Something like that.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Giesen! 21 subs. Oh, I gotta do that. 21 subs from Giesen. Thank you. I gotta go to Punzi. Where's Punzi over here? What is this, Giesen? Does that say that their GPA goes to 11? I'll allow it. I'll allow it just because of the Spinal Tap reference. Yeah. 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 There's a Spinal Tap reference. Yeah. Yeah. I'll allow it. Thank you, guys. Thank you for all the support. You guys have been very nice to me this September, to say the least. Okay. EJ has no laugh emote? Oh, I guess I don't. Should probably fix that. I thought it was Snecktember. Nah, it was unmarked graves out past Terralinga timber. Yep, still got the shovels. How many users are going to be gifted a subscription in the stream alone? 4x3. These guys take care of me.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
They take care of me, and I am very humble for it. I like eating my humble pie every day. Every day, dude. It's part of a well-balanced diet of common sense. Yeah, Yeah, that works. Yeah, sure, that works.
Discovery,
Good,
go and
good,
throttle up.
good. Yeah, that made sense. Yeah, we'll go with it. Sure. And you get to eat pie every day. Ching! Cammy, hey, 213 sub. Love your streams. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing just fine. Bandit, everything is going just fine.
Discovery, go and throttle up.
Ivo, 5 subs. Thank you. But pie doesn't help with the waistline. We're talking about a common sense diet, Keeson. Common sense diet. It's different than different calories. Nice race Sunday. Horrible outcome winner. I didn't watch any racing this weekend, Bandit. Family stuff. Never turn your back on family. Ivo has to make an announcement. No, I have to make an announcement. No, not Ivo. Danny won the race, so yeah. Ew. Gross. The track was good. No crashes. But EJ Racing is family. That's right. Yeah, you're not wrong. All right, I got to go in and do some modifications to this launch pad, but I don't think we have enough time before break, and I do not want to lose my train of thought halfway through. Because the announcement after KSP, it's going to be during Space News. You guys were talking about doing some Pikes Peak stuff. Do you guys mind if I save this project for KSP after, and we do some beam right now? I kind of want to send it. We'll play beam we'll do a Pikes Peak run. New car, DV? Huh? In beam? I don't know. He's tired of KSP. Peepo's sad. I don't know how you extrapolated that from what I just said, but sure.